Blessed love to everyone. Let me ask you a question now. Do you have a copy of our digital electronic book, The True Biblical Land of Israel? Now, if you do not have a copy of The True Biblical Land of Israel, to get a copy of The True Biblical Land of Israel, all you have to do is email us, priestisaac27@gmail.com. This is the book that was once a theological paper. This is the book that we have issued the challenge on. That challenge being, if anyone can dispute and refute our facts, that according to the biblical description, the geography of the Bible, according to the information coming out of that specific book, the biblical land of Israel, again, described in the Bible, is Africa plus Arabia. And as I said, within the pages of the book, The True Biblical Land of Israel, we give the facts, we give all the references as it relates to the narrative of the Bible. And of course, we still bring in some archaeology and anthropology. But of course, the core of the discussion is coming from the scriptures. So this is why the book, The True Biblical Land of Israel, is not a book to try to validate the Bible. It is a book that proves that according to the Bible, whatever the origin is, or wherever it came from, or whoever originally wrote it, that's not the point. The point that according to this well-respected book, the Bible, the land of Israel is Africa plus Arabia. So as I said, our ebook, all you have to do is email us and we ship it to you through the email. You find it in your inbox right away. And of course, your payments can be made right away as well, as we utilize the PayPal, and the PayPal is the same as our email, priestisaac27@gmail.com. And let me just say as well, for a very limited time, and we'll tell you when the time has met its limit, we will be offering the book Anu, Ancient and Modern, with the biblical land of Israel. Listen to me good. So when you buy or purchase the biblical land of Israel, we would give you a free copy of the book Anu. Now the value of both is $20 each, United States currency. So you'll be literally getting a $40 value for just purchasing the biblical land of Israel. And the same goes for Anu. When you purchase the book Anu, Ancient and Modern, we will give you a free copy of the True Biblical Land of Israel. And listen to me, I'm not done yet. And when you purchase them both, you would get a free copy again. When you purchase them both now, you're buying the two of them, we give you a free copy of The Night of the Black Tiger, which is not a book, at least it's not in book form as yet, but it is our more recent DVD video documentary, Night of the Black Tiger, the divinity of Marcus, Messiah Garvey. And I can go on and on because, we have so many other things to offer. And the point really is, once you shop with us, we always have some gift to give you. That's really the point. So as I said, the True Biblical Land of Israel. As I said, this is the book that is the challenge that has gone out, where we have just one university at the moment that has even responded to the challenge. So that means that there must be something in the book that cannot be denied. You need to get your copy of the book. And as I said, payments can be made through the PayPal as well. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Blessed love. Now, this is what I want you to do. For all those who are not subscribers to the Shock of the Hour, I need you to email me at priestisaac27@gmail.com. because for a limited time only, I will be offering, listen to this, 2 free weeks of the Shock of the Hour. So if you're not a subscriber to the Shock, of course you've listened to the Shock, but if you're not receiving the Shock of the Hour every evening in your inbox via the email, then you need to contact me and say, Priest Isaac, I would like to get the 2-week subscription. That is the free subscription for the Shock of the Hour. And we will send you, email you each and every evening after the Shock of the Hour, that episode specifically that was recorded. Remember, the Shock of the Hour is a program that comes to you every evening. I'm talking about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And of course, as I said, after the program, you get the recording of the program in your inbox, in your email the next day. That is the Shock of the Hour. And of course, it is a monthly subscription of only $50 United States currency. But I am offering you for a limited time 2 weeks subscription free of cost for the Shock of the Hour. And of course, after the 2 strongs or 2 weeks as they call it is expired, it is up to you if you'd like to continue with the Shock of the Hour subscription. So to get 2 whole strongs, 2 whole weeks specifically as they call it, of the Shock of the Hour free, no charge whatsoever, and you could full joy the nightly program that you ain't gonna hear on YouTube and you're not gonna get on Facebook, just definitely contact us. Priest Isaac, PRIESTISAAC 27 at gmail.com. Blessed love. Please don't go anywhere. I have a hard point to hit you. Yeah. You know, so there are different maps. You have maps from the 1800s, the 1700s, in some cases the 1600s, even down to the 1500s. You listening to me? You have maps from the 1500s that show you and highlight, first of all, Ethiopia, way below, if you want to use the term below, to the south of the equator. You have maps that show you that the Atlantic Ocean is the Great Sea, also known as the Ethiopian Sea. As you know, yes, the Greeks call it the Ethiopic Sea, but I mean it's more than that. Now, when we speak sometimes, although, you know, we tend to lean on the PhD and we tend to lean on the degree, and even those who don't have degree and PhD, sometimes we tend to lean on the research that they have done, or we feel that they have done. But I would say to all those who want to teach too, although you have the confidence of maybe your audience, try your best to be clear with them. So information, when they have to repeat the information, they can be just as clear as you know. Because I've heard it all the time, you know, ancient maps say this and that, but where did you get these ancient maps? And that's why I like when brothers say, hey, but what's the source, man? Give us the source, you know, just reality. Now, what I'm saying, we were speaking about Beersheba in the book, The True Biblical Land of Israel. And I highlighted in the book that Beersheba is also referred to as Sheba. You get that? And Sheba, this is in the book of Joshua, Sheba or Beersheba. And Beersheba, which is basically a part of Judah itself. Remember, Sheba is in Ethiopia. Now, how mystic is that? That is well aligned with our concept that the true land of Israel is Africa plus Arabia. You know, we did a program just a few strongs ago dealing with Africa being one according to the Bible, as we clearly showed that in the book of, Nahum, talking about Thebes and Thebes' power stretched to the sea, which was around it. So that is just that, and that is all Africa. So it's just understanding the biblical text properly, understanding the Bible without losing, you know, the whole understanding of reality. So I'm saying now that, yes, there are old maps that have Ethiopia way to the south of the equator. They're old maps. that have Jerusalem situated in Namibia, oh yeah, in the area of the Kalahari Desert, along close to the banks of the Orange River, you know. So at the same time, you have maps that have what you call Bethesda, located in parts of South Africa again, you know, what you call it, Botswana. Now keep in mind that, as I just said, you have maps that are showing you that Ethiopia is way south of the equator. And from the biblical text, especially when I think the division of the land came, you had Judah more in the south. Now, why I'm saying all of this, I'm just trying to highlight again. Before the 1940s, before Israel was, even from the early 1900s, before they decided that they wanted to use Palestine for Israel, what am I saying? Before they decided, that's what is happening. You know, all the Balfour Agreement business is around that time that these people decided that they're going to use Palestine for Israel. Remember, they wanted to go into Uganda and use Uganda for Israel. Now, why would they want to go into Uganda? Remember, I'm saying not just South Africa, Southern Africa, anything south of Ethiopia going down was considered as Judah land. I hear one speak about West Africa being Judah land. I can't say. I mean, I've done my research. My research carried me further than Bing and Google and these things, you know. Some of these things that I've gone into, I don't even see them on anything that you could find on the internet, you know. And it's not really about Google. You have to keep in mind that there's many different people that are submitting their information. The same way you can go and read the Encyclopedia Britannica, you can do it online too. You don't have to read Wikipedia. You understand what I'm saying? And get a credible argument if you think Britannica is credible. Yes, and Americana and these different encyclopedias and source of reference. So the maps now speaks of cities like Agag that is spoken of in the book of Samuel. You know, the Jordan is highlighted in some of these maps in the 1800s, the 1700s, and the 1600s. So as I said, you yourself can go and do your research as I highlight some of the information to you, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm not just saying maps, you know, I'm going to tell you the maps, the year of the maps, when the maps were printed, and exactly what can be seen on the maps. And these maps are African maps. So you have the G.W. Carleton map of 1886. That's a year before Marcus Garvey was born. In 1886. Keep in mind at this time, you know, that this concept of Israel being in Palestine wasn't really a hot concept, really. You know. As I said, they wanted to go to Uganda to do this. Even Argentina came to mind, and I always said, look how strange it is. No? Imagine if these people did use Argentina for the biblical Israel. No matter what the Bible say, people would still believe that and tell you Jesus walked in Argentina and this and that and the whole shebang and everything that goes with it, just because of the educational system. I don't mean the school, you know, anything that they do to edify you, supposedly training. Let me say that, the training system. Because when you say education, you may just confine it to the schools. The training system in the church, the school, the play, the TV, the home structure, everything. You've been trained to believe whatever it is that they want you to believe, wherever Israel is and whoever Israel is and all of this and a whole shebang of lies. But anyway, so according to the 1886 map, the Carleton map, the GW Carleton map, you can look it up, Colton, the GW Carleton map. It literally shows Beersheba in southern Africa, you understand? And this is very important because even the A.J. Johnson map now of 1870, pardon me, that's of 1870, That's the A.J. Johnson map. It also has Beersheba. It has Jerusalem, as I said, along the Orange River. This is in 1870 now. Keep that in mind. That time frame is not like that long ago, but it's a good distance before all of this, you know what I mean, smoke and mirror stuff about Palestine being Israel came to the light. So before that, you know, maps, credible maps of the day, not a map, you know, maps of the day. We already gone through 2 maps already. Credible maps of the day. In the 1800s, 1870, the A.J. Johnson map had the Jerusalem in Namibia. Keeping in mind, they have maps, again, we'll get to that have Ethiopia all the way down in Namibia too. Okay, hold on. So even some of my Ras brethren quick to say, hey, priest, yeah. So where you see, you know, Christ born came in Ethiopian, where you see this and that, and where you see this and that, you know. One thing, I'm not a follower. So not because people say Christ born in the cave of Ethiopia, I'm gonna just follow. But I think I have a level of understanding that I could figure things out and see if they are true or not. That's why I could use, like, for example, these maps. Now, I'm not literally telling you Jerusalem is in Namibia. I'm just showing you. This is not to try to convince you show. I'm just showing you the different avenues of information and thought patterns that existed at what time. That's what I'm saying. And it was an accepted thought pattern that Jerusalem, the concept of Jerusalem also existed here in Namibia. Now, in my search, don't get me wrong, they have other places called Jerusalem. You have Jerusalem, especially in this modern day time, and Bethlehem, and so in Mount Zion, and so in different parts of the world. You have Jerusalem in the United States, several of them. Jerusalem in different parts of the world, and Bethlehem in different parts of the world. That don't mean that they're the biblical Bethlehem. Doesn't mean that that's the spot of the biblical Jerusalem. It's just those who ever named the spot considered that the spot was reminiscence, I guess, of Jerusalem. Remember in Lalibela have Jerusalem, Lalibela have the River Jordan, Lalibela have Bethlehem in Lalibela, and Lalibela is before the 1800s, you know. So just keep that in mind, that not because the place named Jerusalem, I am saying that it's Jerusalem, but it's interesting that even that concept, it's not the person that drew the map didn't name the place, you know. The concept, we were still, you know, we still had a certain level of freedom, especially in Africa at this time. In the interior of Africa, where we are naming a place Bethesda and Jerusalem and Beersheba and these different things. So that's why I'm highlighting this to you. You know, even Jordan in the 1886 map of A.J. Johnson. That's another map of his that was published in 1886. You have Jordan to the Jordan River to the south of the Orange River. Now, even in 1664, this is the map of Perry de Val in 1664, or not Perry, Pierre Duval. You have the city of Ammon, or Ammon, Ammon. That's how it's seen also on the map, Ammon, as mentioned in the Bible, actually being to the west of Egypt. You know, like how we talk about the city of David being to the west of the Guyana in the book of Second Chronicles. The book of Second Chronicles, isn't it? Chapter 33, verse 14 speaks of the city of David being to the west of the river Gihon, and the river Gihon is the river that compasses the whole land of Ethiopia. Aye. The river Nile. This is some deep stuff. So Ammon, the city of Ammon is seen to the west of the River Gihon to the west of Egypt, not in Egypt. And that's in the Duval map of 1664, the Pierre Duval map of 1664. You know, the same thing can be seen on the Johannes Hontiros map of 1552. I hope you're taking your notes so you can check them out. You understand what I'm saying? So even as far as 1552, you see biblical places mentioned in the Bible, seen by name in the interior of Africa. Not necessarily just on the coast, but even in the interior. I'm just saying that to point out to you that even though the enemy, had a little finger there trying to get in and coming up the Congo River and all of this thing, we understand that, but it was not to a point, especially in the 1500s. It was not to a point. Like, for example, how Africa is now, and the colonial grip that came upon it, and what we were beating off, especially in the 1800s and the 1700s. For sure, in the 1500s, even if it began, even if the slave trading began and all of that, at that time, this psychological enslavement of a people to change their concept to fit the concept of the European didn't even nearly exist at that time, not even a thought. And it was not 90% or 90 plus percent of Africa was not even affected at that time by the European coming in as yet. So there's no reason to believe that it was because of some sort of indoctrination that you can find maps even going far as back as the 1500s showing biblical names given to different parts of the interior of Africa. So that is why even the Jerusalem that is seen in Namibia comes up in many different maps. It's not like a one-man concept. Many different maps spanning over hundreds of years. Quite interesting, and it's not duplicated like it's here and it's there and it's there. So whoever had considered that area Jerusalem, it seemed to have been an accepted concept at least over a specific period of time to those that were dealing with the whole, the map works as it relates to Ethiopia, to Africa, and we're dealing with Southern Africa, Namibia specifically. So Amman, as well, as I said, is seen as being to the west of the River Gihon, or to the west of the Nile as far as 1552. So even the city of Agag, which is said according to the book of Samuel, where the giants were, in the Wilhelm Belahu map of 1635, you see Agag, and that is seen in many different maps as well. The map of 1669 for Richard Blume, that is the map that shows Ethiopia way south of the equator, encompassing Namibia, Botswana, and even South Africa itself. And it's very interesting, it's very interesting that a lot of ones try to compare Southern Africa with Ethiopia as far as which one really has the oldest, specimen and fossil remains of human beings, and which one really is the cradle of civilization and all of these things. But as you could see here, even from the 1600s, imagine, so all you have to do is check your Ethiopian history and consider now who was ruling Ethiopia in the 1600s when these people considered all down to Botswana as being Ethiopia. Who was ruling Ethiopia? Now you can see why they wanted to put Israel in Uganda first, because that's really where it belonged as such. Let's put it that way. It is that region you see all these, mystically biblical names. So even Bethesda, and this would be a good point too, the Adolf stellar map of 1875 also has Bethesda in this southern region of Africa. Now, this is to show you where I'm coming from. This is just for edification. It definitely proves to me, it definitely proves that the concept of Palestine being Israel is extremely shaky. Now, to say that this proves that these areas were the area, maybe to you it would, as I said, I'm not here to try to sway your thought. I just put things on the table, and I also show you what I think, because that's what I'm going to do now. Now, there's a Bethesda right here in Antigua too. Bethesda. And an Ebenezer and these places. Ebenezer, these are, biblical names. Now, the Bethesda here in Antigua, in 1887, according to this map, our Bethesda was already called Bethesda. All right. This is why I'm showing you to keep an open mind even in all of this. Because in reality, there may be a respect of a culture too. Because Lalibela named certain parts of Lalibela Jerusalem and the River Jordan as if to emulate the Jerusalem. Or at least this is how the history comes to us. And this could be the same case, a case of such. It may not necessarily mean that where we're speaking of at the moment is the Jerusalem of the Bible and the Bethesda of the Bible. It may not necessarily mean that. It could be, but it may not necessarily mean that. And again, because I'm just drawing it for you properly so you can use your own initiative and your own critical thinking to, carry yourself further. Because again, in reality, all of this was considered Ethiopia. Biblically, Judah controlled the south, biblically. And what we have already covered in the true biblical land of Israel from Africa to Arabia, all of this should at least, in my book, be considered, very much so. So the 1864 map of James Wild, that's a wild with a Y, has the River Jordan as well. All of this. You even have the Quran land. Just like the Quran, also seen as the Korana land, Koran, and then the NA, the Korana land, and that's actually not in Namibia, that's more in Botswana, and you can see that on the 1819 map of George Bacon. So the point is that in southern Africa, all a part of ancient Ethiopia, you have some key biblical sites that stand out by name for one reason or the other. You understand? Now let me just say this to some that are still skeptical of I know my concept, and they align it with Haile Selassie in the sense that, well, Haile Selassie, the Ethiopian tradition, Haile Selassie went and visited the tomb in Bethlehem and the birthplace of Christ and these things according to what we know. All right, I'm going to read this article here that has to do with a city in Ethiopia. When I say Ethiopia, I'm talking about modern day Ethiopia. Now listen to this. It says here, Adama. Who? Adama. All right. Now, Adama is almost, it's like Adam with the Adama. When it says God created Adam out of the dust of the earth is Adama, which is like Adam in a feminine form. Adama. So, Adama, which is Oroma, Hadama, is also known as Nazareth. Oh, that's interesting. This is in Ethiopia. There's a city in Ethiopia called Adama, also known as Nazareth. Is a city in central Ethiopia and the previous capital of the Oroma region. Adama forms a special zone of Oroma and is surrounded by Misrak shower zone. Hope I pronounced that correct. It is located 8.5 degrees north and 39.27 degrees east at the elevation of 1,712 meters, 99 kilometers southeast of Addis Ababa. Hear that? Okay. The city sits between the base of an escarpment to the west and the Great Rift Valley to the east. Adama. Okay. Mystic. And its name is Nazareth. Alright. Nazareth is in the Bible where Christ grew up, isn't it? Okay. Let's read a little of the history. The history says, following World War II, Emperor Haile Selassie, who? Let's start over here. Following World War II, Emperor Haile Selassie renamed the town after the biblical Nazareth. Now, why would Haile Selassie do that? Why would Haile Selassie, the devout Christian, did he do? Listen to me good, I don't want nobody to jump to no quick conclusions. Let's evaluate this properly. Don't just run and say, wow, you see that mean? What it mean? Take it there. As I just said, don't forget all that we just spoke about. So there's a place in Namibia that is called Jerusalem, and apparently it has been referred to as Jerusalem from a very, very long time. So that means that Jerusalem itself, that we speak of even in the scripture, it comes to thought like, wow, Jerusalem. So we find a map or maps, hundreds of years old, referring to Jerusalem, or a place in Namibia referred to as Jerusalem. Does that mean it is the Jerusalem of the Bible? Or does that mean that there was a level of respect given to Jerusalem where they decided to name this area Jerusalem, just like Jerusalem? We saw Lalibela do something like that. At least from the knowledge of my history, it was not until Lalibela that the name got the name Jerusalem. Unless it was the real Jerusalem and Lalibela took back the name. I'm just saying, you got to look at this properly. That's why we are critical thinking people, They usually teach you in school to get the information and just go home and learn it and come back and see if you can do a test, remember it long enough to pass the test. That's what it is, but that's not what it is. It's about critical thinking, being able to cipher out things. That's why this is the mystic vibration. It's not no vision we get, no angel come and talk to us. We look at things critically. We cipher it out properly and say, hey, you know what's the answer to this problem? And then we bring it out naturally. You understand? So I'm just showing you again. We see in this modern day time that people name places after other places out of respect for their culture and vice versa. This could have been the case with the Jerusalem and the Bethesda and even the Ammon and the Agag that is seen in Africa, at least some of them, maybe not all of them. I'm just saying. But if the Jerusalem is in Namibia, it still goes according to the script, It seems to be in the southern region, where Judah is in the southern region itself. But what I'm saying is that all of that is Ethiopia as well. Beersheba is seen definitely for sure in these ancient maps. And now Haile Selassie has renamed an ancient city, Adama. Ethiopians say that the city was named after Adam. So if this city is named from the first man according to what we've been taught, Adam. Why would Haile Selassie come and change the name from Adam to the name of the city where Christ trod, the city of Nazareth? Is it the real Nazareth of the Bible? Or was it in just a case of admiration for the Nazareth in Palestine that the emperor decided to name Nazareth, or Adama Nazareth? Now Adama, which represents the place of the first man, as we just described, that we're just a stone throw away from the Rift Valley, where some of the oldest bones have been discovered in the Rift Valley. Isn't it in that area they found Kadunumu, close to Adama, close to Nazareth, the first man, the great man, the grand man, Kadamu? Interesting, isn't it? Yeah. So I personally see that Adama is the biblical Nazareth, specifically. And that is why the emperor changed the name. Not that it was not Adama, the place of the first man, but it is also, in retrospect, the Nazareth, the place where the Christ himself walked. So maybe the Nazareth of the Bible is in the Garden of Eden, and not maybe. The story, the puzzle is being put together slowly but surely. So the emperor himself, for those who are querying and questioning, what Haile Selassie think about my concept, well, this is what he think. The emperor himself renamed the city in Ethiopia after a biblical city, not any old city, the city of the Nazarite himself, Nazareth. And this is why I always say, man, without a doubt, if you know your Bible and you do not know your history, you're wasting your time. Because the knowledge of your Bible will be nothing but a mystery. Now, this is what I want you to do. For all those who are not subscribers to the Shock of the Hour, I need you to email me at priestisaac27@gmail.com. Because for a limited time only, I will be offering, listen to this, 2 free weeks of the Shock of the Hour. So if you're not a subscriber to the Shock, of course you've listened to the Shock, but if you're not receiving the Shock of the Hour every evening in your inbox via the email, then you need to contact me and say, Priest Isaac, I would like to get the 2-week subscription. That is the free subscription for the Shock of the Hour. And we will send you, email you each and every evening after the Shock of the Hour, that episode specifically that was recorded. Remember, the Shock of the Hour is a program that comes to you every evening. I'm talking about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And of course, as I said, after the program, you get the recording of the program in your inbox, in your email the next day. That is the Shock of the Hour. And of course, it is a monthly subscription of only $50 United States currency. But I am offering you for a limited time 2 weeks subscription, free of cost, for the Shock of the Hour. And of course, after the 2 strongs, or 2 weeks as they call it, is expired, it is up to you if you'd like to continue with the Shock of the Hour subscription. So to get 2 whole strongs, 2 whole weeks specifically as they call it, of the Shock of the Hour free, no charge whatsoever, and you could full enjoy the nightly program that you ain't gonna hear on YouTube and you're not gonna get on Facebook, just definitely contact us. Priest Isaac, PRIESTISAAC 27@gmail.com. Blessed love. Blessed love to everyone. Let me ask you a question now. Do you have a copy of our digital electronic book, The True Biblical Land of Israel? Now, if you do not have a copy of The True Biblical Land of Israel, to get a copy of The True Biblical Land of Israel, all you have to do is email us, priestisaac27@gmail.com. This is the book that was once a theological paper. This is the book that we have issued the challenge on. That challenge being, if anyone can dispute and refute our facts, that according to the biblical description, the geography of the Bible, according to the information coming out of that specific book, the biblical land of Israel, again, described in the Bible, is Africa plus Arabia. And as I said, within the pages of the book, The True Biblical Land of Israel, we give the facts, we give all the references as it relates to the narrative of the Bible. And of course, we still bring in some archaeology and anthropology. But of course, the core of the discussion is coming from the scriptures. So this is why the book, The True Biblical Land of Israel, is not a book to try to validate the Bible. It is a book that proves that according to the Bible, whatever the origin is, or wherever it came from, or whoever originally wrote it, that's not the point. The point that according to this well-respected book, the Bible, the land of Israel is Africa plus Arabia. So as I said, our ebook, all you have to do is email us and we ship it to you through the email. You find it in your inbox right away. And of course, your payments can be made right away as well, as we utilize the PayPal, and the PayPal is the same as our email, priestisaac27@gmail.com. And let me just say as well, for a very limited time, and we'll tell you when the time has met its limit, we will be offering the book Anu, Ancient and Modern, with the biblical land of Israel. Listen to me good. So when you buy or purchase the biblical land of Israel, we would give you a free copy of the book Anu. Now the value of both is $20 each United States currency. So you'll be literally getting a $40 value for just purchasing the biblical land of Israel. And the same goes for Anu. When you purchase the book Anu, Ancient and Modern, we will give you a free copy of the True Biblical Land of Israel. And listen to me, I'm not done yet. And when you purchase them both, you would get a free copy again. When you purchase them both now, you're buying the two of them, we give you a free copy of The Night of the Black Tiger, which is not a book, at least it's not in book form as yet, but it is our more recent DVD video documentary, The Night of the Black Tiger, the divinity of Marcus, Messiah God. And I can go on and on because, you know, we have so many other things to offer. And the point really is, once you shop with us, we always have some gift to give you. That's really the point. So as I said, the True Biblical Land of Israel. As I said, this is the book that is the challenge that has gone out, where we have just one university at the moment that has even responded to the challenge. So that means that there must be something in the book that cannot be denied. You need to get your copy of the book. And as I said, payments can be made through the PayPal as well. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Blessed love.